Check out some fast news. Or let's go. Let's see what's going on too.
We have also some new documents today
found
about the mother's criminal history.
This was a day ago.
Investigative reporter Aubrey Killian been digging through the arrest records. What have you uncovered?
Hey, Gina Sulla. So I spent the day at criminal court today, and a warning: the details in the documents, they're pretty graphic. So court records reveal that Hilda Vasquez was convicted of cruelty to Brian. She regained custody to her son despite documentation of very severe injury sustained. This is Hilda Vasquez mugshot. Records show in 2013 a 3-month-old baby was abused. According to the documents, that baby is her son Brian. She and her boyfriend were watching TV and her son began to scream as if someone was squeezing him. She stated he was vomiting blood and milk and stopped breathing, so she called an ambulance. Court records show multiple injuries, including a punctured lung,
I'm sorry,
red
what?
hemorrhages to the left eye.
Holy
fractures
shit,
to
she
both
beat him
legs
up so
with
bad
outward
she was
deformation at the
vomiting
ankles,
blood.
and
Yeah,
a
that's
skull
not good.
fracture with swelling.
Holy
According to
fuck.
the records, these were
What
injuries
the
caused by
fuck?
Hilda.
What the fuck?
Diagnosis: child abuse. According to the records, the mom did not
Holy
explain how the
shit,
injuries
this
occurred.
the
One court
person
record
beat
stated
their own
supervised
kids
visits
so
would be in the best
bad that they
interests,
were
recommending
vomiting
the following
blood and like
schedule.
had broken
1
bones
hour-long
and
visits
shit.
in the jail 3 times per week. Each visit supervised not only by deputies working in the jail, but also by a DCFS social worker. But that all changed. Records show she was given probation. Then in 2017, she was arrested for violation of probation.
It's one more factor. It's just one more.
She's a repeat offender of other shit
that the
too.
New Orleans Police Department and other agencies will look into. I'm sure they will dig deeper into.
They got
court
crazy.
record. I'm sure they will dig deeper in working with.
I'm
the
pretty sure
Department
we
of
got
Children
it
and Family
crazy.
Services. Quite certain there's information in there that's going to be confidential. That the general public may not be aware of. So we have to let this investigation move forward and unfold, and know that everyone involved wants to know how this happened, and they want to prevent it from happening again.
So the family says the mother is a victim of domestic violence, which they claim is connected to that abuse crime, but that information is not listed in the documents.
Huh?
DCFS and the Orleans Public
Wait,
Defender's
are you
Office
saying she's
not
a
commenting.
victim too?
Sell it
No,
back to you.
motherfucker, she almost killed
continues
the.
on WDSU.com.
What the fuck?
That's where you can get a full report of the
boy,
mother's arrest
what?
history and previous statements from police on why they seized
Fuck
her
that
phone.
shit. Hang that bitch. Anyways. We got some shit happening in Indonesia.
Indonesia has seen another day of anti-government protests. They're being fueled by the death of a 21-year-old motorcycle driver who was killed when a police armored vehicle ran him over at the site of a demonstration.
So
in
they're
the
mad at the cops
in
because they
central Jakarta,
killed a
rioters set fire
pedestrian.
to a 5-story building near police headquarters, while others torched vehicles and attacked government offices. Demonstrators are
So
angry
it
about
was
what they call lavish perks for
basically an
lawmakers,
accident,
rising
but
living costs,
everyone's
and a lack of
rioting
jobs.
now.
President Subianto has appealed for calm
Because
and promised a full investigation.
they want to hang that fucking those people.
Gasping for air from tear gas, paramedics are rushing to get this protester in Jakarta some oxygen. These protests have spiraled out of control.
Popping off.
But they started as largely peaceful demonstrations against low wages and lavish perks for lawmakers.
I wonder if there's anything going on in
electricity
Myanmar
bills?
right
Who
now.
pays their taxes?
Because there
We
should
do.
be. Yeah, that shit's still popping off, I think.
Within moments, it all turned.
It's hard to get
mayhem.
information in some of these places because they don't like post a lot of
Bloodied
information.
faces
And obviously you
injured
can
bodies
because there's a
strewn
lot of
across the streets of
turmoil,
the
they might have
Indonesian
shut off
capital.
the internet.
Protesters
Or maybe
set buildings
trying to
on
censor
fire
stuff, right?
as the police responded with tear gas and water cannons. A desperate attempt to calm the unrest. Then came the moment that shocked the nation. An armored police vehicle, like this one, ploughed into a 21-year-old delivery driver, Afan Kurniawan, killing him. He wasn't even part of the demonstration, just doing his job when he was hit and run over. This is his funeral. Jakartans mourning not just a young man, but a tragedy that has deepened the unrest.
We are very disappointed in all law enforcement agencies, especially the police chief. Please pay attention to this. These drivers are also human.
We demand justice for Afan. Those responsible for running him over must be tried fairly and dismissed from their jobs.
Afan's death has ignited national outrage, forcing even the president to break his silence.
I am shocked and disappointed by the officers' excessive actions. I have ordered that last night's incident be thoroughly and transparently investigated and that the officers involved be held accountable.
Anger had been building since President Prabowo took office last year, stoked by lawmakers pocketing allowances, nearly 10 times the average Indonesian minimum wage. Now, 7 officers are in custody, but the driver who killed Afan still remains unknown. In Jakarta,
Oh
one
yeah,
young
why
man's
would they
death
tell you
has
who the
become
fucking
the
dude,
symbol of a
like who the
nation's
one
fury.
driving was? Because you guys are gonna fucking try and
And that
find
fury is still burning.
I mean, given what's
Let's go to
happening,
Jakarta
oh
now
yeah, you
and
guys
talk to
are
our
rioting
correspondent
right
Ferdinand
now.
Hemawan. Ferdinand, how is the situation there this morning?
When I drive through the streets today, this morning, from my home to the studio, I can see that there are some public facilities have been burned down during the protests, such as the bus stops, the toll gates, several police stations, and several police vehicles has been burned down in the streets. And the major toll roads in Jakarta is also still closed, and the people are still cleaning up after the protest. But and Jakarta is not the only place that the protest was happening. It was happening also in other big cities in Indonesia, such as Makassar, Solo, and stuff. But I can say that for now, the situation is getting more conducive, and hopefully it can get more conducive and not escalate even more from now on.
Ferdinand, these protests erupted after a motorcycle taxi driver was killed by a police vehicle, but then there was the wider demonstrations that expressed a kind of public discontent. Tell us more about what the protesters want or what they're protesting against.
Yeah, that's correct. The death of the motorcycle taxi driver was the trigger that make this protest reach its peak. But the initial focus of this protest
basically
was because
the death of
the bad
a
economic
innocent bystander
situation
who
in the
was
country that was created by the bad economic
driving
policy from
to
the
work
government.
or
The government kept
because
increasing
he
the
was doing
tax.
some
The living cost is increasing.
he was doing a job.
But the people's economic situation
And then he
is
got
hard.
killed for
They are
some
facing
reason.
mass layoff. They are facing low wages, and the unemployment rate is getting higher.
There it is. Bike taxi
on the other
driver.
Hand, when
See.
they are facing that,
yeah, just an
they
innocent
heard that
bystander.
the MPs got a
Totally
fantastic salary
has
and
nothing to
increased
do with
house benefit that is
the
10
riots
times
or
bigger
anything, right?
than the
Or whatever
minimum
was
wage in
happening.
Jakarta. That makes the people angry. But what makes the people really angry is the response from one of the MPs that are mocking the protesters that are protesting against the fantastic salary of the MPs. So what we saw in the past 2 days, that is how the public expressing their frustration towards the government and the elites in this country.
At the same time, after the death of this motorcycle driver, we saw that President Subianto apologized. Did those actions appear to be calming the situation?
Actually, in the statement, President Prabowo Subianto didn't say sorry to the people. Didn't apologize. Say sorry to the people. They are just saying condolences to the death motorcycle taxi driver. But it seems like that the government still not insensitive to the people's
So
condition.
yeah, protests in
And,
Indonesia began
this
on
situation
25th
can be
of
de-escalate
August.
only
Right.
if the government
And
really
then you
listens and
just
also
had
have
the
empathy
death
to
of this
the
person not
people
too
to
long
really
ago. Right,
give
pretty
what they
recently.
want and really just talk to them.
An innocent bystander,
Kind of
literally.
action can really de-escalate the tension in Jakarta and also in Indonesia.
All right, that's DW's Ferdinand Hemawan in Jakarta talking about those protests. Ferdinand, thank you.
Yeah. As they were protesting, apparently, right, the cops were, I guess, going to somewhere and, right, hit this taxi driver out of nowhere. There we have it. Was the shooter's dad reveals what happened before the attack? What is this?
All right, we're learning.
Oh, this.
All right, we're learning shocking new details about the trans school shooter in Minneapolis.
What kind of
What
details?
police found at the home, and what the gunman's dad said happened shortly before the attack.
Oh, they
Fox's
talked to
Brooke
the
Taylor
dad.
has been digging into the story, and she joins us live from Minneapolis. Brooke.
Hi, Jason. Well, we're now learning from police that they have spoken with the shooter's mother after initially saying that they couldn't get into touch with her and that she hasn't been cooperating. It's not clear exactly what that conversation entailed, but I have learned that she decided to hire a criminal defense attorney. I spoke to that criminal defense attorney. I asked why his client hired him. He told me, quote, she is completely distraught about the situation and has no culpability. Now, police have not said whether
Basically,
any
I think
family
they're
members
saying
potentially
right.
face
I think they're
charges.
trying to say
A new
that
search
they were
warrant,
trying to
meanwhile,
blame
reveals
it on the
shooter,
mother
23-year-old Robin Westman
because
left a car at the
right,
scene,
they
which was
allowed
registered
their
to his father.
child
That father
to
told officials the shooter was
transition at a
with a
young age,
romantic
right.
partner. They were living together, recently broke up,
So
so he moved
they're
out of that
probably
home
trying to
and
go
was living
that
with a friend.
route,
Police
but
searched
yeah.
Westman's father's house here in Minneapolis. They found a tactical vest, 2 computer drives, and documents according to that warrant. Westman's father told police that his child once attended Annunciation Catholic School where this happened and the church, and that his ex-wife had also once worked here. The warrant states police found the shooter dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, wearing black tactical gear and carrying at least 2 long guns. The 2 young children who died have been identified by family as 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel, whose father said the young boy loved his family, friends, fishing, and all sports, and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, whose family said, quote, her laughter, kindness, and spirit touched everyone who knew her. Hundreds of people in this community have been showing up to pay their respects to these families. 18 others were injured, and tonight we're told that 6 are still in the hospital. 5 of them just young, innocent children. Jason.
Brooke, thank you. Tough, difficult, tragic story. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
There you have
Hey,
it.
click here.
And that was Sean Hannity. Click there if you want. What's this? LAX traveler tracks down stolen luggage at an abandoned building. Uh-oh.
And if you're flying this weekend, maybe you think, what if the airline loses my
That's
luggage?
sketch.
But do you think, what if my luggage
Your
is
luggage
stolen?
got swiped.
West Hollywood man says that happened to him at LAX, but he knew exactly where his luggage was located. He talked exclusively to our Alex Rozier about how he tracked it down and the unusual place he found it.
We all know that feeling at the end of a long trip when all you want to do is get home. But imagine getting over here to baggage claim only to find out your luggage was stolen. That's what Daniel Scott says happened to him this week.
They had told us that this was where the bags were going to be coming out.
Around 10:30 Tuesday night, Daniel said he flew in from Salt Lake City and walked to baggage claim to pick up his suitcase on Carousel 25.
About 10 minutes passes by and nobody's seeing their bags. So Delta comes on over the intercom and says, I'm sorry, it's actually coming out at baggage claim 23.
But when he got to Carousel 23, his bag wasn't there either.
But thankfully, Daniel had an Apple AirTag in his suitcase, which allowed him to track the location of his luggage.
So I grabbed my phone and I looked at it and I saw that it was not in this terminal, but that it was moving towards the Uber lot and leaving the airport. So I just immediately started sprinting to the Uber lot. Once I got to the Uber lot, I saw that it was continuing to move and it had reached across the street.
His AirTag said his suitcase ended up here, a half-mile away at this fenced-in, boarded-up abandoned building at the corner
yeah,
of
that's
98th
shady.
and
You shouldn't
Sepulveda.
go there
I knew
yourself.
that my luggage tag was saying it was in this vicinity.
Daniel said his partner called LAX police and officers responded minutes later.
And when they pulled up, they asked where it was. We were literally looking for it, and then they shined the light within the building, and we saw some movement in the building. And then when the guys came to the window, they lined them up in the window. I saw the guy with my clothes on. He had my shoes on, he had my shirt on, and my pants
Oh,
on.
Video
shit.
shows LAX police detained several people, and once they cleared the building, Daniel said officers let him search for his suitcase. He eventually found it, but his clothes were everywhere.
So this is a pretty big building, and my clothes were scattered throughout in multiple different rooms, but at the end of it, I got about 90% of my items back, which I was super happy about.
Now, a few days later, Daniel urges anyone who's ever in a similar situation to be
So
safe.
it's basically a home. It seems like a
If you're flying
homeless
anytime
encampment,
soon,
right?
Maybe an AirTag can help.
It just gave me a fighting chance.
And
Like, it
they
gave me a chance
stole.
to actually find
Basically,
my
a bunch of
luggage and to be
homeless
able to
people
retrieve it.
stole his
It was
luggage.
insane, absolutely.
I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
Oh my god. Fucking homeless. Oh yeah, this happened. Well, we'll see this later. What's this?
Breaking news this morning, one man is dead after an overnight shooting in Atlanta, and right now police are working to track down the shooter. Atlanta News First.
Atlanta, be careful, that's another hotbed of crime.
And Don, you've been talking with the victim's family.
I talked with his sister, and she tells me that he was 27
Southeast
years
Atlanta.
old, a father of 4 young kids. I want to show you what's going on here right now, because you can see that investigators are focusing a lot of their attention on that black vehicle right there. It's a Tesla parked right in front of Fire Station 2. So I want to explain what happened here. This is what police are telling us. They're telling us that the shooting victim was brought here to this location, Fire Station 2, in that private vehicle right around 3 o'clock this morning. Right now, homicide detectives have been interviewing the driver, also family, friends, and potential witnesses. Many of them rushed to the scene here, all visibly upset. Now, the problem is police don't know where the actual shooting happened. They just know that the victim was rushed here to Fire Station 2 in the 1500 block of Jonesboro Road in that black Tesla. Firefighters tried to save the man, but his injuries were too severe. He died here at the fire station. Detectives say that they're using license plate readers and the city's expansive surveillance camera network to track where that black Tesla came from.
At this point, we are trying to determine where the actual shooting took place. We do have the driver who we are questioning and using our technology to try to figure out where the shooting actually took place.
And back here live, you can see Fire Station 2, you can see that black Tesla, and you can see those investigators that are taking pictures and rummaging through, looking for any clues. Right now, no suspect or suspects in custody, still an active investigation. I should also mention that this street, which is Jonesboro Road, it is a relatively busy street here in southeast Atlanta. It is closed right here in this area near Dorothy Street, so if you are coming in this direction, you're going to have to turn around. We're live here in southeast Atlanta. Don Schiffman, Atlanta News First.
All right, Don, we will continue to check in throughout the morning as you work that scene. Thank you.
There you have it. What's this? Biden's White House moment of the day. Maxine Waters was fired up when she called in to Roland Martin's show and seemed more than a little bit buzzed. She was drunk?
Well, what I'm going for is exactly what you're saying. Damn this business as usual stuff. I can't do business as usual. We need to shut this damn place down.
Why don't you just calm down?
We need to shut this damn place down.
You can't run over this like this.
You can't run over this like this.
From our communities that's been in jail.
That's been in jail.
We've got people who've been
Whoa,
in jail
did she just
for
curse?
stealing a loaf of bread. For stealing a loaf of bread.
You believe this senile horse shit?
They're going to rewrite history in front of us and take us for being damn fools that they're going to get away with not only doing an interview and then starting
crashing
the deal
out.
by sending her to a cushion.
Also, don't forget, Maxine Waters is a dumb bitch from California.
location.
She's a California
I mean,
Democrat.
This is horrible. This is
senator.
terrible. We know he's the commander-in-chief. We know he's the commander-in-chief. So he'll be shocked
Senator, right?
if he
Or
walks
House rep?
into
I forgot.
a protest and all the signs said, "You and you are protophile lovers, protophile lovers." What are you going to do about why
Washington,
did you lie
D.C.
about?
Oh, she went to D.C.
Why
now.
are you protected? Why isn't you like a protophile? Why isn't you like a protophile?
I think somebody's had tea.
Oh, she's a California congresswoman. There we go. Yeah. Senator. Oh, there you go. Annoying bitch. Escondido.
We start tonight with developing news out of Mira Mesa. A police chase that started in North County ended with bullets on the freeway and traffic delays heading into the holiday weekend. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Dramatic scenes playing out on Interstate 15 tonight. A chase, a crash, and gunfire. Right now, investigators are still on the scene piecing together what led to officers opening fire. Let's go now to CBS 8's Richard Allen live along the 15 with what we know tonight. Richard.
And Carlo and Marcella, as you can see behind me, this is turning out to be a very slow start for a lot of drivers for this long holiday weekend as this stretch of the 15 southbound remains shut down as the investigation into this police shooting here along the freeway now stretches into its 5th hour. Now, a high-speed police chase began at around 4:45 this afternoon up in Escondido with officers pursuing a female driver southbound. Now, videos circulating on social media show Escondido police cruisers following that driver at a high rate of speed. Now, the chase finally ended when the driver's vehicle collided with another car here on the 15. Police then opened fire, shooting at that driver. And while we're still working to confirm details, we do understand that it was Escondido police who fired. Now, our chopper also captured a person being placed onto a stretcher and loaded into an ambulance in the aftermath of all this. At this point, though, we do not know the condition of that person. We do know, though, that CHP is in charge of this investigation. We're trying to work to get more information from them, including what led up to this high-speed chase in the first place. In the meantime, as this investigation continues into the night and the southbound 15 leading up
there's
to
a lot of
Road
bullets
exit
on
here
the floor.
remains closed. Traffic is being diverted back onto
There's a lot of
153
casings.
South, creating a very frustrating experience for thousands of drivers as they are backed up for miles just as this long Labor Day weekend is beginning. Carlo and Marcella, we're continuing to follow this. We'll bring you any details on air and online.
There you have it. Yeah, Labor Day is Monday. What's this? California's official sound alarm on illegal Chinese pesticides.
Authorities in Northern California sounding the alarm over a dangerous new twist in the black market marijuana trade. Local sheriffs say international crime rings are smuggling in powerful Chinese pesticides. We're talking about chemicals so toxic they're killing wildlife, contaminating water, even sickening deputies raiding the illegal grow sites. So one county declaring a state of emergency, warning the environmental damage that is could take decades to undo. News Nation's Jorge Ventura joins us live now. So Jorge, how are law enforcement officials responding to all of this?
Hey, Kelly.
Fucking
Well, for years in Northern
eco-terrorists,
California,
man.
Mexican cartels and other foreign criminal organizations
With this
have operated
chemical
these
warfare
large-scale
shit.
illegal marijuana grow operations in the rural lands of Northern California. But local authorities are now telling me that in recent years, Chinese cartels and other Asian gangs have infiltrated that black market marijuana industry in the Emerald Triangle. They say that these Chinese cartels are willing to murder to protect the criminal enterprise and now are smuggling illegal pesticides directly from China, bringing a new environmental crisis to Northern California. When it comes to these unlicensed cultivation sites for marijuana tied to organized crime, it is common for these sites to use illegal pesticides like carbofuran to spray on marijuana plants. Illegal growers do this to protect those crops from any animals or wildlife in the areas. But authorities say they normally encounter these foreign banned chemicals smuggled from Mexico with Spanish labels. But now these illegal pesticides are coming from China. In July, in Siskiyou County, the county declared a state of emergency from thick poisonous smoke caused by illegal growers burning these materials infused with these banned chemicals from China.
The damage from the chemicals it's on so many different layers. We finally had to go to basically taking a small bulldozer with an enclosed cab because we didn't want to get these chemicals off the plants onto ourselves. And we started bulldozing these grow sites that we used to cut by hand because there's so much concern about, even touching this stuff. And then I believe it was Siskiyou County that had a couple of deputies that were injured. I've had some deputies, injured.
Now you're looking at now are exclusive photos of the most recent illegal Chinese
Yeah,
pesticides
whenever
encountered by
you're
local law
dealing
enforcement in
with
Northern
any
California.
type
These foreign
of
banned
chemicals, you
pose
probably
severe
want
dangers to public health,
put on
impacting the water ecosystems and even first
gloves
responders who are not prepared for such
you don't want to
hazards.
touch your
Lieutenant John
face
Norris,
with
Jr.,
it,
retired
right?
California
No.
Department of Fish and Wildlife, is warning that these Chinese illegal
You don't want
pesticides
to touch
could be
your
more deadly
body
than those
with it.
illegally imported from Mexico. Norris warns that if the state of California does not step up enforcement on these toxic chemicals, the environmental damage could take decades to reverse.
They're active nerve agents, as we've seen with like the carbofuran that Mexican cartels are using all over the country. But these imported chemicals from China are as deadly, if not more so deadly. They're nerve agents as well. They're being used in multiple different ways throughout all of California, but Siskiyou County is being impacted by far the most. In over 177 investigations Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office have had on illegal marijuana operations, they found these chemicals in them.
Now, on that most recent state of emergency in Siskiyou County that did prompt the EPA to now step in and investigate, the EPA is calling it an illegal pesticides crisis in the county, Kelly.
Yeah, this is shocking in a lot of ways, Jorge. How often are authorities encountering these dangerous chemicals at these illegal grow operations?
So I've been speaking with sources within California Fish and Wildlife that say that authorities are encountering these illegal grows and say that about over 70% are using these illegal pesticides, but that those pesticides were normally coming from Mexico or other areas in Latin America with Spanish labels. They say this is the first time that they're consistently
eco-terrorism
from China with Mandarin labels, and they say that this use of these illegal pesticides
this is
skyrocketed in Northern California.
When these grow sites are discovered and they are eradicated, 9 times out of 10, especially in private land grow sites, all of those chemicals don't necessarily get removed. All of the waste, all of the destruction, and what's happened in that grow site that's environmentally destructive, whether it's massive amounts of water stealing and water poisoning, and or it's just these chemicals being out there to harm anything living, they're not removed. So wildlife continue to die, water stays poisoned.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
Jesus. There you have it. What's this? Trump seen leaving White House alongside granddaughter Kai bound for Virginia golf course because people were saying, oh, he passed away somehow. Oh, he's alive and well. He's just going golfing. Going golfing. There he goes. That was one of his. That was his granddaughter. Longer.
As far as I'm concerned,
Oh, shit.
we have to move very aggressively. It is not about, lingering and trying to think that maybe the courts will help us. I want, even though I know it may not happen, the cabinet that he's appointed, a bunch of his sycophants who probably won't do what I would recommend. It is time
Like, you guys don't have
to call
sycophants?
for
Oh, I mean, you guys have
Article 25
fascists and
of the
cultists and
Constitution
shit like
of the
that.
United States of America to determine
Bunch of
his
extremists.
unfitness, to determine that something's wrong with this president. And I would suggest that we move very aggressively to talk about the
we
danger
move
to
very
this country
aggressively.
and to
Also,
our
Maxine Waters
democracy
is one of
and
those
not play around
persons
with
who
this,
likes to
because this
call
is
to action, call to
absolutely
violence
one
a
of the
lot.
most destructive things that
He
this
doesn't get
president
tagged
could do.
either.
Congresswoman Washington
she
Schultz,
should.
I mean, your take on this, because I think it's jarring to hear Congresswoman Waters say
She's
it's
like
time
a
for the
virtue
25th Amendment,
signaling
but
politician.
I mean, presidents have been impeached
Who
for
loves
much
being
less.
an activist.
This is true.
Yeah, basically. Well, you should have said cancer patient, because he had cancer apparently during his whole presidency. Because they didn't tell us. All right, what do we got here? Microsoft fires 4 employees after
When I joined
on-campus
this company as a
protest.
software engineer 5 years ago,
see
I
ya.
never expected that my employer
Is this a Karen? She an activist?
would have me literally dragged out of my own workplace for taking a stand for ethics and human rights.
Police arrested 25
I
people
hate
in the
to
last 8 days
say
for
it, but
protesting Microsoft.
tech
Many
companies
current
don't
and
care
former
about
employees
ethics
are
and
demanding
human rights.
Microsoft break ties with the Israeli military. Fox 13's AJ Janabel breaks down the last several days of rallies.
Yeah, and we heard from several Microsoft employees who have been fired and arrested at these protests. We dug into what has been going on at that Microsoft campus in Redmond, Washington over the last few days.
The People's Court summons Bradford Lee Smith
Tuesday, police say 7 protesters barricaded themselves inside the office of Microsoft President Brad Smith. The protest group, No Azure for Apartheid, say they have several demands, including Microsoft cut ties with Israel. Police arrested the 7 inside the president's office for trespassing.
They basically
and
locked
resisting
themselves
arrest.
inside
2
the
current
president's
employees
office.
were among the protesters.
So
Microsoft fired them for
Oh.
breaching company policy. Less than a week before this incident, police arrested 18 people for causing chaos on the company's campus in Redmond. Video shows the group arriving outside the Microsoft sign. Microsoft said one of the protesters in this rally was a current employee. 3 others were fired from the company previously for similar conduct.
Gotta
David
love
and Nia,
Microsoft employees,
several
eh?
of the former Microsoft
They
employees
keep
who have
employing
now been fired
activists.
said this is not what they wanted to happen. They wanted Microsoft to take accountability.
Microsoft has dragged its feet at every opportunity
Oh,
to hold the Israeli military accountable, but has acted
shit.
with incredible haste in repressing
You know these
workers'
companies
sentiment
don't
about
care,
the issue
right?
of Palestine. I worked in Azure storage. It is untenable to me that I had worked so hard on building out the Azure storage space, and that ultimately that labor was benefiting the mass surveillance and targeting of a people experiencing the extreme horrors of genocide and forced starvation.
Genocide and forced starvation.
I reached out to
Hitting all the
Microsoft
talking
for a
points.
statement in regards to the press conference. They did not provide a statement. However, over the last few days with the other protests, they have provided statements. We have those statements on fox13seattle.com. Back to you.
Have it. What is this? Houthi confirms PM killed in Israeli strikes. Yeah, we heard about that earlier.
All right, let's now get you
I
some
mean,
breaking news
the,
that's coming in from
right-
West Asia, where Yemen's Houthi
Netanyahu
group has
said he was
confirmed
coming
the
for the
death of their
Houthis.
Prime Minister Ghalib Ahmed al-Rahawi.
He said he was coming.
In the Israeli bombing on Sana'a in Yemen. The
Sorry, this isn't this was 14 hours ago.
Houthi group said
Bam!
that al-Rahawi and his ministerial complex
Boomed.
were targeted by
Yeah,
the Israeli
boomed.
forces during a routine
Yeah,
workshop that
N-word.
was held by the Houthis to evacuate their progress. The several other Houthi members have also been injured in the Israeli bombings on Thursday. In a statement, the Israeli Defense Force said that the Houthis, who control most of Yemen, are operating under the direction of Iran and are funding terror activities. This is what the Israelis claim. The Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said that the strike was approved by Prime Minister Netanyahu, adding that the Houthis were aware of the consequences.
The Houthis were aware of the consequences. Got him. What's this? Deportation flights hit record highs but become hard to track. Uh-oh. Because it's slowing
Advocates
down?
say airlines are making it harder to track U.S. deportation.
Or are they trying to
saying
hide
dummy
the
call
fudge
signs
the numbers,
and blocked
yeah?
tail numbers are keeping the public from seeing where these planes are going. The report comes as the number of deportation flights reaches record highs under President Trump. Immigration advocacy groups told the Associated Press they previously followed deportation flights on public tracking websites, but now many show up as not available, forcing volunteers to rely on airport cameras, open source data, and information sharing to keep track. Tom Cartwright, who has tracked ICE flights.
Hold on, I have to. You got bitches.
Since 2020, recorded more than 1,200 deportation flights in July alone, a record month. Most are operated by 3 airlines: Global X, Eastern Air Express, and Avelo Airlines. Since the start of Trump's second term, Cartwright reported 5,962 flights, a 41% increase from the same period last year. These flights either take immigrants to other U.S. airports or directly to Central America, Mexico, or in a few cases, Guantanamo Bay. That's according to Cartwright's tracking. To help with the workload, Cartwright's group partnered with Human Rights First, which is now running the ICE Flight Monitor project. Seattle's Boeing Field Airport is one of the few places the public can see these flights. County cameras and live streams allow volunteers to count passengers and monitor the operations. Local groups say they've tracked more than 60 flights in Washington this year, moving thousands of immigrants to border states or out of the country. While these advocacy groups say the planes are becoming harder to follow and track, raising transparency concerns, airlines are legally permitted to limit flight data available for the public, according to the FAA. Thank you for watching our news update. For more stories that matter to you, download the SAN mobile app today.
All right, there you have it. What's that? Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton calls Chicago's out-of-control crime a manufactured crisis. Opposes Trump's plan to tackle it. Like everyone knows,
what are they helping
Chicago,
with? No
like Illinois, has
right
one of the
now.
highest crime rates in the fucking
last
country.
time that federal troops, or National Guard, quite frankly, were federalized against, for a state and sent to a state was in 1965 when troops were sent by President Lyndon B. Johnson to protect protesters who were marching from Selma to Montgomery. Protesters like my father, Henry, who's now 92 years old, who marched for voting rights. That's how it was used, to protect rights. And now here we are seeing President Trump federalize the National Guard to crush rights. That is not helpful.
What is this bitch saying?
So we didn't ask for it. We don't want it. The people of Illinois don't, and the people of Chicago don't want
That's not what
this
other
to
people
happen.
say.
It's a
Apparently, there's people on the
manufactured
streets who
crisis.
want it.
You
They're
sure
not
about
listening
that?
to you,
It's
a public
unbelievable, right?
official.
Illinois state
by the
local
way.
leaders fight
You're
to
supposed
keep
to
the National
represent
Guard
certain
out of
people, right?
Chicago. They
Your
say
constituency,
crime
but you
going
don't
down.
represent
But
shit.
here are nearly 36
By the way.
shootings in Chicago
Yeah.
last weekend alone.
Yikes.
6 of them are fatal. Take a look at this. We'll slowly pan over. And petrified residents say they have had enough.
I don't see a reduction in crime. I see crime everywhere.
We've got
Oh,
a lot
shit.
of challenges. We've especially had a lot of challenges the last 5 years.
It's a good thing that Trump is doing something about the crime rates.
I mean, that's what these people think, and these are what the numbers say. Look at the shootings in the timeline. And as I do that, let me bring in my next guest. He's made it his mission to help clean up the streets of Chicago. Project Hood founder, Pastor Corey Brooks, joins us now. So, Pastor, we keep hearing from the mayor and governor, crime's going down, leave us alone. Should we leave you guys alone?
Absolutely not. We need to invite President Trump in. We invite the National Guard in. You know, we've had 254 deaths in 233 days. 80% of those have been black boys. And for anyone in our community to say that things are getting better and that people are safe, that is an outright lie. We need to do everything we can to keep our citizens safe. One of the #1 priorities of government is to make sure that the citizens of America stay safe. And that should be the #1 priority of the governor and the mayor, but it's not, because the only thing that they're really concerned when it comes to black lives that matter is black lives that matter that vote.
What are they helping with? There's no emergency right now. It's a manufactured crisis.
There you have it. Alright, and that's gonna do it for the fast news. All the sources and everything will be in the description, yeah? So if you want to check out all the right links and all that. Or more stuff from them. Yeah, there you have it.